Alright, we're live. Awesome stuff. Wait, people are joining now. This will be interesting. I'm going to click on that. On chat, yeah. Right, we go there. Alright, it looks like we're ready to rock and roll. 2 people in. That's good stuff. Yep, hello everyone. Yep, hi. 3 people now. Give it 5 minutes to think, let everyone. Oh, 2 people, hello. Alright everyone, right. Give it a minute or 2, let people join in. Evening everybody, yep, hi. How are we all doing? Right. So we've got 7 people, right, so looks like we'll be ready to start. So this will be the new live weekly show on a Thursday evening, as you can tell by the title already. Oh, someone sits behind me at Fulham. Well, I usually get a couple of jokers behind me at Fulham, so I don't know which one you want. Not a couple of jokers, but there's a few people I see who sit behind me. A couple of old people, but yep, good evening Sam, how are you? One like, cool, it's good, we're getting there, right. I've been watching a bit of the Chelsea game where I did see Kante's goal. How he not make 3 people in the process of sticking that in the bottom corner, I do not know, but yeah. We are going to move on to Fulham things. A Bournemouth fan, that's interesting. Better season for you than it has been for us. No doubt about that. So, I'm not sure where to begin, really. Yeah, I'm not too bad. Doing alright. Score for Tuesday. Is it Tuesday night, is it? Okay, I thought it was Wednesday night. Yeah, I know you beat us 3-0, you beat us quite easily. I don't know, I think we'll draw Tuesday. I think we'll draw. I don't really see us doing much else than that. I understand it's just a bit of an inconvenient time to be doing this. I know the football's on, probably a lot of people will be watching that and might drop into the stream later on, but for the time being we'll just go with what we've got. Yeah, it looks like the KL deal is off. I think it was never really materialised, it never really got off the ground. I think it was one of those things really. What do you think Bournemouth will finish? Definitely top half. I think they're definitely more than capable of finishing in the top 10. Whereabouts that will be, I'm not too sure, but I think top 10, definitely top 10. Very kind, very kind. Well, look, lots of people, people want to watch this, then great. If they don't want to watch it, then that's not a problem. I know the football is it's quite good at the moment. Chelsea have pulled it back, so it'll be interesting. Will we see Kamara again at Fulham? Probably not. Looks like he's going out on loan. Yeah, fair enough. Looks like Kamara is going to go out on loan. Rumoured to be a couple of Turkish representatives actually in London the other day or last night, whatever it was. I think Cabano might be heading out there as well. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. I mean, look, when you're rumoured to be getting arrested for fighting with people and stuff at training, and then having more, having the previous problem with Mitrovic. What do I think about the Mitrovic and about the Kamara incident on Monday? It's just silly, really, isn't it? I think ever since that whole incident where at Huddersfield, where he the whole penalty debacle, I think it's just all gone downhill from there. He's been constantly fighting with people. I think when you're getting arrested as well, it's stupid. Would you want to see Kamara again? Probably. I don't know. It all depends. Line up for Tuesday. Oh, that's a tough one. Could we have a couple of deals done by then? Probably not. I don't think we're going to sign anybody, but I just don't really see the lineup changing from what we've had in the past couple of weeks. I think there's not much really at the moment that we can do. Obviously, everyone's there's not not much competition really, especially in the back line. I think we're quite light there. Can we get maybe Benatia in? I'm not too sure. Juventus don't want him, but it'd definitely be an improvement on what we've got. But whether or not he'd want to come to us in our predicamen's another thing. So we've just got to wait and see. I think the lineup on Tuesday, though, just to round that question up, will probably stay the same. I don't see much of a change to what we had. Do you think we're going to sign anyone else? Probably not. I don't know really. I think we were promised multiple signings by Tony Khan, and nothing's really materialised. And it's strange because in our situation, you would have thought in about December, you would have thought that we'd probably at least have the groundwork done to at least bring a few players in. I understand in the modern day how hard it is to sign players. I completely understand that. It's not like it's not like a computer game or something like that. Someone's turned off Mark Goldbridge for this. Well, that's interesting. But as I said, yeah, I think signings. I don't think we're going to sign anybody. I think it will be a disappointing window. It has just been a disappointing window. But to be honest, we don't do much in January, do we? I mean, for the past four years or even longer than that, January windows have been quite a slow burner. So I wasn't expecting a hell of a lot, but you just got to wait and see. How do you think Babel will do at the club? I think Babel's done all right, really. I think if he can at least be a bit more consistent. He played well on Sunday for the about an hour he was involved in for. He looked like a bright spark. It was positive, so definitely would. Hopefully he can keep it up. He's got a point to prove as well, so it'll be an eye-opening signing, an interesting signing as well. So we just got to see how that goes as well. Hopefully he can be a bit more consistent. What's your opinion on Kenny? I don't know. I think ever since he's had that big couple of knee injuries and that, I don't think he's the same player he quite was. I think his best season for us was probably the 16-17 season, where in my opinion he's probably one of the best players in the league during that season. I think the knee injury at Ipswich last August, and I just don't think he's been the same player. He's obviously found it hard this year in the Premier League as well. Stepping up to that extra bit, that new level with a bit more quality is always going to be hard, but I don't know. I think if we were to go down, I could see him walking away, but we've just got to wait and see. Big signing on deadline day. Mitrovic and Target were deadline day deals. I know that, yeah, but I completely understand that. They were both, to be fair, they were both areas that we were crying out for last year. Everyone kept saying we needed a good striker, we needed a good left back as well. I know we got them in late and they were good. We were lucky to get Mitrovic, weren't we, really, where if we remember correctly, that it was meant to go to Anderlecht, and Anderlecht couldn't afford Mitrovic in because they couldn't get the player they wanted out on loan to loan him out. So it was like it was one of them funny signings that was written in the stars. Kenny has another shot since 16-17. I don't know. I think going back to the Kenny thing, I think we'll talk about that for a little bit longer. I just don't think his playing style really suits what Ranieri wants. I think Ranieri wants quick counter-attacking football, and to me, Kenny does slow the game down when he gets on the ball, and that's probably more of a hindrance than an advantage for us. And that's probably why we don't see much of him in the starting 11. I know he played well a couple of weeks ago against Burnley in the second half, but I was actually quite surprised to see him not start on Sunday. But at the end of the day, we've got to just have faith in Claudio Ranieri. I know that he's been quite on social media. People are saying that Sessegnon's confidence has been shot really, and you can tell that Ranieri. I don't think Ranieri really rates him really. You can see on Sunday when he came on Sessegnon, he just didn't look really. He looked quite. He just looks a shadow of the player he was last year, and the same can be said for a number of players. It's just been a disappointing season on the whole, and the sooner it's finished, the better for me. And it's just worrying where we go from here, especially if we fail to get anybody in between exactly a week, isn't it? And maybe when I'm on this again this time next week when we're doing this, we might have a different story. Hopefully we might have a couple of deals gone through and something more positive to talk about. But for the time being, it does seem like it's all quite negative around the club at the moment and things ain't looking good. So it's just worrying times. Who do you think's improved the most since last season? Well, I don't know. What's a tough question. Who's improved the most? I suppose on the struggling side, there isn't too many bright sparks. I don't know. I don't know really. It's quite hard to say who's really improved the most. I don't know. Thinking about Sessegnon's done okay since he's played in parts. He's done all right. If we're talking about the old guard who got us up, then Mitrovic, I'd say Mitrovic for me because he was always spoken about as a player who couldn't do it in the Premier League. And I think this year he proved that a lot. I think when you're in a side that you fit well in and you're playing good football and you're happy at a club, then that's half the battle for me. And I think he's probably been the most improved in terms of him silencing his doubters and showing that he can step up. I think it's 8 goals he's got this season or 7, however many it is. It's not a bad return for a £27 million investment. It's not too bad. Hopefully between now and May, if he could break into about double figures, hopefully get to that about 14 goal mark, that wouldn't be too bad at all. And if we were to go down, then it might raise his price a little bit more. Any away games you're going to go to this? I don't know. Away games at the moment, I'm not too sure about. I'm just going to have to wait and see between now and the end of the season. It's looking unlikely at the moment. I'm not too sure. Was Surrey worth the money? Yeah, I think back in August you could say he 100% was. I think he came in with a good reputation. He came to improve the midfield, and everyone was happy with it, including myself. But it's one of those things that hasn't worked out. But I do believe if he was in a better team with better players in a more established Premier League side, you'd probably see a better performance from him. But it hasn't worked out for him here. But it kind of reminds me of that whole Idrissa Gueye thing at Aston Villa, where I know he was one of their brightest sparks in the season, but it's one of them similar types of things where he's a similar type of midfielder who's playing in a struggling side. Went down that season, which I'm hoping we don't, but they obviously went down. He got his move to Everton. Looks like he could be on his way to PSG maybe this month, but he's definitely been one of those players who was involved in the relegation side, but definitely did step up and really did prove his worth. So maybe if we were to go down, as Seri went to a different club in the Premier League, you might see a different player. Casper Vlog says hello. Yep, hi. I hope I haven't butchered that name, but I'll try not to. It's not easy, but as I said, I think Seri he's been a disappointment this season. I think a lot of the players have, but I think he was worth the money, as I said, and again, it's been one of those things that hasn't really worked out, unfortunately. Casper, yeah, fair enough. It was like okay, that's a C. I thought it was instead of an S, but thanks for the clarification. That is a good. You were close, yeah. I think we have to work on that in the near future, which is interesting. But yeah, if you've got any questions regarding anything Fulham wise and that, keep them coming. I'll try and get through as many as I can. Sam McNeil wants a shout out. I've seen you a couple of times saying that. Yeah, we'll give you a shout out then. Yeah, shout out to Sam McNeil. Yeah, the Bournemouth fan who's they're enjoying a much better season than we are at the moment. So good luck to them. What's your opinion on the Kamara situation? We answered this at the top of the show, but I'll go through it again. Again, I think it's just been really silly. You know, when you're having fights at training and you're scrapping and things like that, it's never good. And I do worry long term. Are we going to sign anybody else? I don't know. I don't think we will. What do you think of the Fulham kit this season? Yeah, I like the Fulham kit. Obviously, that Dafabet sponsor is cursed because Dafabet is a sponsor associated with many relegation teams. Look at Sunderland, they had Dafabet, they went down. A couple of other teams as well. I think did Aston Villa have Dafabet when they went down? I think they did. There's been a couple of sponsors. Well, Dafabet have sponsored a few teams. Sunderland as well went down. Yeah, I do remember Harry. Yeah, he's used to comment in a few videos. I think there was a question that came up. Who do I miss most out of the squad in 16-17? I think there was a minute ago. Oh, that's a good question. I think there's a lot of things we missed about. You know, there's a few players. Again, we had a few disaster signings. Remember a player called Thanos Petros who signed in January in that season, and I think he played like one game in the cup against Hull and never heard of him. Thoughts on where the club goes if we go down? Asked Lee Randall. I don't know where we go. I could easily see us doing a Sunderland, going for that double trap door of going ending up in League One. I think it could be likely. I think with the financial implications we'd have to face when we go down, I think it would be a problem. Spending that much money, and then especially if you look at QPR, what happened when they went down, I think it'd be hard. And I don't really see us coming back from this. If we were to get relegated, we wouldn't come back, I don't think, for a long time. If I could sign anybody else, who would I sign? Oof, that's a tough question. There's a load of players I'd like to sign. If I could only sign one, it would be a central defender. I think at the moment it'd probably be Benatia. I think if you looked at the recent rumours, I think he's definitely a defender who'd improve us. I know he's quite physical as well. He likes to put himself about, and I definitely think that's what we lack in the team. His experience. He's obviously played a lot with Juventus. He's been at the recent World Cup in Morocco, and it didn't do too badly there. They could have easily got through their group, Morocco, in the World Cup, if you remember correctly. I think they had Portugal and I think it was Spain, so it was a tough group, but they give it a good go. I definitely think if he were to join us, which I'm hoping he would, but it looks highly unlikely, but if he was to join us, then I think that'd be a big improvement for us. Thank you for the shout out, yep, no problem. McCormack and Dembele were our best players. Well, if you're going back, 3 or 4 years ago, then yes, I think we did miss a trick with Dembele. I think it was silly that we didn't actually... the contract situation with Dembele was a problem, and he was never going to sign a new deal after scoring all them goals. Ross McCormack, well, he should never have left us, I don't think, but he wanted to move. Obviously, Aston Villa came in. It was probably his best chance he thought of ever getting to the Premier League. It backfired, and he's now ended up at Motherwell, really. What do you think the Oldham supporters when we played you? Yeah, the Oldham supporters I felt were quite good. 4,000 of them quite loud. Generally quite good, and I was quite impressed. Obviously, they were quite good. Would we be in a better place if Slav stayed? I personally don't think we would have. I think if Savisa had stayed, I think we would have probably been worse off than we are. And I know there's a few people who wanted Savisa to stay, and there's a big divide really. But I think if Savisa had stayed, I think it would have been a lot worse than what we are. Would you take Ross McCormack back? No, I think he's past what he was. Obviously, he had a good couple of seasons with us, scored a lot of goals. And I just don't think he'll ever come back. Do you think Jack Collins from Fulhamish podcast will ever smile? I don't know what you quite mean by that. I mean, is that some sort of inside joke that I don't know about? I mean, I don't know what that means, but will he ever smile? I can't answer that, so we'll have to move on from that one. I think if that's an inside joke, then I don't know. Do you think Ranieri's lost the dressing room? I don't know. I think the performance on Sunday proves he hasn't, because we give it a good go for the majority of the first half. Obviously, took the lead. I think the second half was a bit underwhelming because I think we're caught in two minds whether to not to shut up shop and hold the 1-0 lead or just be brave enough to go for it. But it was, I don't think he's lost the dressing room at all. Do you want to see Kamara back? I don't want to see him back if he's going to continue fighting. When we played Chelsea, what did you think of our support? Yeah, I thought the support was quite good. I mean, I was right at the back behind the goal in the upper tier, so I was standing for most of the game. It was quite good, and I was quite impressed with it. Fosu Mensah in training today. Why has he not gone back to United? I think United don't want him back at the moment, Ollie. I think it's a strange situation. We want to send him back, but Man United don't want him back. So looks like he's going to be stuck with us for the rest of the season. There's a question there about PewDiePie T series there. I don't watch either of them. I don't really watch people like that really on YouTube. Are you excited for the new stand? Kind of. I don't know. When did you start supporting Fulham? A long time ago. About 2005. I think it was when I was about 5 years old. So a long time ago. But going back to that new stand, if we're in the Premier League, then I think it'll be good. It'll be beneficial for us. But the stand needs to be done. I think there's a few I'm trying to think the right word here, facilities at the club that are not up to the 21st century modern day supporter experience. So I do think the new stand will benefit us in the long term in terms of that. But look, if we're going to be in the Championship, and then it's going to be quite empty, especially the new seats. If we're going to go to a 30,000, then they're going to be quite empty in the Championship because we won't sell that out every week. If you compare the attendances we had in the past 2 or 3 years in the Championship, they range from about 17 to 20,000. So it will be a bit difficult, but I understand why the new stand had to be done. I think it's definitely going to boost. There's going to be quite a few things involved in the new stand, so I think it'll be good. Who do you think is going to get promoted from the Championship? Asks Norman Malone. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I think Leeds and Norwich. I think I've watched a bit of the Championship this season. I always watch the highlights, and it's. I do think Leeds and Norwich probably first and second. I think they'll say the same. If I'm going to go with an outside bet, then I'd probably go Hull. I've been impressed with Hull recently. They've really turned things around in the Championship at the moment. Quickly pulls that. Chelsea have gone 2-0 up. Well, okay, it's interesting. That's what they'll probably go through to the final. But I think Leeds will finish first. I think Norwich, I don't know. I just don't see Norwich slipping. I think they'll come second. And I just think that I'll go for an outside bet and I'll go Sheffield United in the playoffs. But if I was to pick an outside bet to go up, I'll probably go Hull. So that'd be my 3 or 4. What's your all-time Fulham 11? That's a hard one. Can't really answer. That'd be tough. How do you feel about the Emiliano Sala incident? Well, I know this question was going to come up, and I was going to mention it at some point during the show. It's sad, really, isn't it? It's not nice at all, and I think it is disappointing. In a more serious answer, it is sad, isn't it? Considering a player who's worked his hardest to try and get to the Premier League, when you're basically on the verge, you sign for Cardiff, and you're going to basically move to the Premier League and. For life to be taken like that, it is sad, and it does makes me realise really that you got to enjoy life while you can, because it can change so quickly, and there's certain things in life we take for granted, obviously, and it's sad. I know he's not obviously been confirmed as dead yet, and neither's the pilot, so I don't want to go down that whole road, but it's just sad, really, isn't it? It's not nice at all. And I hope that there's still I hope that he's still alive somewhere, whether or not he's been rescued by a rescue boat or something along those lines. I pray he's out there and he's okay, because I don't wish it upon anybody, and it's just been really sad. So my thoughts are with everybody involved in that. Out of the youth team players, who has caught your eye? Well, really, I think we've not seen a lot of the young players this year, have we? They've the appearances have been quite few and far between. Obviously, we did have Harvey Elliott play in the Carabao Cup against Millwall, and I know he's been doing good things in the academy or when he's been playing. I've seen bits of it, and I follow him on his social media account, so I see what I definitely think he's a good young player for the future. Steven Session's always, there's been people on Twitter wanting him to obviously progress into the first team eventually. So there's a couple of good young players there who hopefully we can. Maybe next year if we go down into the first team. What team kit do you think is the worst in the Premier League? I'd say Watford's is up there. I think that whole black and yellow stripes ain't that great. I think it's like a bit of a bumblebee type of kit, really. Although we had that as our away kit a few years ago, so I think that probably up there for me. I think Anguissa, well, he's had a few problems with his injuries, hasn't he? I think he's not been fully fit since Man United when he got sent off, so whether or not he'll play, I think he did train today, according to the Twitter account. I think he did train today, so let's watch his space for that, but whether or not he'll play again, I don't know. So I think when you've got Callum Chambers in there, who's probably done a better job throughout the whole of the season, it's hard to get back into the squad, especially when, as I said, you've got a player who's coming on loan from a big club and doing better than you. It does make things a little bit harder, I think. It's another one who's we've not probably seen enough of him to really make a proper judgment. I think in a couple of appearances we've seen from him, he's not done a lot. He hasn't put up too many trees, but I haven't seen enough of him personally to make a more decisive, decision on what he's really like or what he's capable of. But whether or not we'll get the opportunity to see that, remains to be unknown, really. I think it's another one that could be added to that disappointment summer signing type of category that can go alongside a number of the players, really, which is a shame, but, it's worrying. Do you think we should buy Chambers at the end of the season? Well, I don't know. If we stay up, then I'd definitely be more than happy to see that happen. But I think if we go down, it would be unlikely. I think if he continues to playing well here and he goes back to Arsenal and he reverts to a midfielder, then I definitely think there's an opportunity there for him. Obviously, Aaron Ramsey's going to go to Juventus. Apparently signed his pre-contract, so he'll be going there in the summer. So there's definitely an opportunity there, and I definitely think he could turn it around at Arsenal. I am aware that Henry's been suspended as Monaco manager. And to think, Aston Villa fans, when Steve Bruce got sacked, were absolutely crying out for him. I think they were, at least. But there was a lot of talk of him going there. Could you imagine if he went there? And I think, imagine if he'd went there, all the trouble that could have happened there if he'd have gone there. But he didn't, obviously. Ended up at Monaco, and I think Monaco are probably in the same category as us, really. I think a big disappointment this season. Quality players in their side just haven't delivered. And they sit second bottom, don't they? Freddie Cooper asks, are we down? I don't want to say we are, but it's looking likely. Edward says we're going to lose 4-0 at Brighton. I think that's unlucky. Like Gary Neville, stick to the Sky Sports punditry, pal. Okay. I don't know what that means there. Okay, that's fair enough. If we go down, do you think Mitrovic will stay? No, I don't think we. I don't think he will. I think he'll leave. I think it'll be about a few players who'll leave. I just think we're going to try and get as many of the big owners off the wage budget as we can. I think it'll be a transitional season next year that won't. It'll be a hard season. I think it'll be another rebuilding transitional season. So if we went down, I wouldn't expect us to go straight back up again. I'd probably expect us to consolidate and then look to try and progress into the second season. But obviously we are aware of what the Championship's like now, so it'd be interesting. Who would leave if we go down? I don't know, it's tough really. I think Mitrovic definitely, as I just said. I think Ryan Sessegnon as well, I think he could go. Tom Cairney, there'd be questions whether or not he'd go, but if West Ham were going to offer £25 million for him, then yes, I think that'd definitely be a good idea. Cashing on a player who's ageing with his knees and stuff would be good. I think they're definitely big three players who'd go. Do you want Tony Khan out of Fulham? Well, to me, I don't think it's all Tony Khan's fault. I know he gets a lot of flack on social media for his approach to the football club, but I don't think we can entirely blame him for everything. I think if you look at clubs like Charlton, Blackpool, and Coventry, where the owners there are practically just non-existent, and you compare them to what the Khans are doing. To be fair to the Khans, they're not bad owners. I know they are. I know Tony Khan gets a few things wrong at Fulham, and I know that he can be a bit of a. People don't see eye to eye with him, but I don't think he's too badly. I think, I can phrase that again. I don't think what he's doing at the club's bad. I understand that people want to see transfers, they want to see, activity in the market happening, but it's not happening for whatever reason. And they are working hard. I completely understand that. And I do back them. They want what's best for the football club. I understand that he's probably not the ideal director of football. And I think if we were to go down, then I'd want him to step aside, so we can have a bit more of an experienced director of football in place that can work alongside the manager. Because as we know, the director of football is that middle ground between the hierarchy and the manager. So we need a bit more of experience if we were to go down, I think. But I don't think it's all his fault. I think the players have to take some responsibility this year as well, because they've not delivered at all. And they've not stepped up on that hype and the reputation they built last year. And it's been a big shame. He's a clueless. Look, I understand that American. He's American, obviously. Football. I understand he gets a lot of abuse, but I don't think if you compare them to teams like Blackpool, Charlton, Coventry, as I said, then we haven't really got any right to complain there. I don't think. I think if things were being run like what the names of the clubs I've mentioned, then I think we got a right to moan. But look, the signings haven't worked out this year. But if we cast your mind back to August, everybody was singing his praises and calling him an absolute miracle man for the signings we made and that. So. I wouldn't say it's double standards, but we just got to. I've criticised him a lot this season as well, but I just think we just got to appreciate the work he's doing. If he was to go, then we just got to see what happens. Really, have you ever met any of the Fulham players? And if so, who? No, I've actually not met any of the Fulham players. Really, it's a bit. I don't know. I haven't met any of the Fulham players. If I had, then I probably would have mentioned it on my channel in the past, but I haven't. So hopefully that might change. Do you remember that game against Brighton? Hutchinson wiped out Hamilton in the last minute. Yeah, I do remember that. That was 15-16. That was the first home game. I remember that game. Tom Cairney scored his first goal for us. And it was a really good goal actually. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube and watch it. It was a good goal. Yeah, but I do remember that. I think Sam Baldock scored the first goal. We made it 1-1 with Tom Cairney, and then literally, as I said, 91st minute, I was just about to leave, and I remember seeing the ball get played into the channel, Hemed go running through, and Hutchinson, instead of staying on his feet, he dived in, wiped the bloke out, then Hemed stuck the penalty right up the middle, and we lost the game 2-1, didn't we? So, you know, that was a difficult start to that season. That was a hard season, 15-16. I remember that quite well. If we're going to quickly talking about that, I do remember Kit Simon's final game very, very well, like it was yesterday. I think it was that 5-2 loss to Birmingham at home, and that was horrible. I remember we were 3-0 down inside half an hour, and that's when things were bad. I think that things were difficult. I mean, the whole squad away at Preston had 5. That's good. I mean, most of the players in our group are generally quite good at the fans. If you're polite to them, you speak to them, they're generally quite good. There's obviously a few idiots on social media who look to troll the players, and that's the thing. Like when you single out players on social media, I think that's quite bad, especially in the situation we're in at the moment. We need to all stick together. And I'm slowly actually becoming a little bit less active on things like Twitter and stuff like that. Weird question, but did you do good in the GCSEs? I didn't do too badly. Could have probably done better than what I did, but in terms of the main ones, English, I was easy English. English, I got a B actually in English. I've always been quite good at writing and stuff like that. I got a B in that. So, school was alright, but I don't know. I prefer to, we'll move that aside, but yeah, we'll just leave that at that. But going back to the whole Fulham thing, you know, well, I've totally lost track of where we were. So I think I got half an hour into this stream and that. Is it still 2-0 with Chelsea? Is it, or does anyone know the Chelsea squad? Was it half time in the game? Obviously, I can't see the scores on here at the moment, but is it 2-0 Chelsea still? Is it or not? Hopefully, is it Brighton 1-2-1 or was it 2-1? Yeah, I remember that game when Brighton 1-2-1. Yeah, that was a similar game. I remember both them games. We played really well against Brighton in that 16-17 season. I thought we were unlucky to lose both them games. I thought we played well down at the Amex and we played well at Fulham that day as well. So Brighton are a bit of a bogey team for us. That's what worries me. Okay, 2-1 Chelsea. Okay, it's interesting. But yeah, playing Brighton does worry me. Llorente scored, does he? Oh my God, Llorente scored. Fair enough. Looks like a good game. Oh well. Kante and Hazard. Fair enough. I saw Kante's goal before I came on stream. That was a good finish. And Hazard's obviously got another one. Okay, it's interesting to see. Do you remember the Fulham? Oh God. My Europa League knowledge of the Europa League campaign, I don't remember too well because I wasn't really that old enough to remember it. But it's about what? It's about 9 years old, so I don't remember it too well. So I can't really recall too many of the games. So I don't. But I do remember the final vaguely. I do remember Simon Davis' equaliser in the final. I was watching it at home. I do remember that quite vaguely, at least. But do we need a new goalkeeper? Asked Lewis. I don't think we do. I think Sergio Rico, for the time being, has done okay. I think my slight criticism, if I'm going to criticise Rico, I think my slight thing for him is he does tend to be a bit nervy when coming for crosses. I think both goals I won't say both were his fault, but he looked a bit hesitant and flapped at a few things. Will Fabry leave? That's a strange one. I expected him to leave this window, but by the looks of it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I mean, what? He was thinking with Besiktas to go back there again, but with a week to go, I mean, deadline day, you know, you get a lot of strange deals happen on deadline day, don't you? Rico, yeah, it's that good chant, yeah. If we go down, could you see Fabry staying and starting? I don't know. I think if we were to go down, the goalkeeper I want to see start is probably Marek Rodak, really. Hold that thought. Do you know anyone in the Fulham youth firm? I don't even know if we've got a firm or not. I'm not one to go to football to have a fight or anything, you know. But going back to the whole goalkeeping situation, I think I'd want to see Marek Rodak start in goal next year, I think, if we were to go down. He's improved a hell of a lot at Rotherham. He's obviously been at loan at Welling United, Accrington Stanley as well. So he's had 2 years of League One experience, promotion, as I said on the last stream, followed by another season in the Championship. So I definitely think him and Bettinelli, I think, would be the two goalkeepers. Obviously Magnus Norman went alone to Rochdale, but he's been generally quite poor from what I've seen. He's hitting a few sloppy goals, made a few silly mistakes there as well. So Rodak and Bettinelli for me as fighting out for the two positions. So it's what I see. I doubt we've seen the firm since we have a stadium. Yeah, we won't have a firm. And considering we've had more arrests at our training ground than our actual ground, I don't think a firm will happen anytime soon for Fulham. What are our odds of staying up in the Premier League? Well, slim, I'd say. Very, very slim. It's probably like, if I was to do a hand signal, probably like that. I think if we get beat on Tuesday night, that. So that's the comparison. I'd like to think they're probably that big, but just that, like not hanging on by a thread, I'd say, something like that. So just clinging on for dear life. If we drop, then gone. Oh. Proper lemon squeezer. I thought you were quite naughty. Oh. God, seriously. Yeah. The whole YouTube world mind boggles me sometimes. I get some absolutely crazy comments from some people, and I think that just definitely ranks up there. As if in Fulham firm. I think if I was in the Fulham firm, I think you'd notice it. I think you'd probably see a few. I'd be like a bruised apple on my face. I'd have quite a few bruises on my face every now and again. Fulham Huddersfield half-time was interesting with us playing. I don't remember that too well, but I was aware that was it the academy on the pitch something at half-time? I think that was. I don't really watch the half-time entertainment on the pitch. I just tend to have a chat with people around me and just check the half-time scores really, which is probably what the norm really, what other people do really, but it's definitely an experience, I suppose. It was the academy. Fair enough. If Mitrovic left and Fulham went down, who would you replace him with? Oh, that's a good question. People might laugh, but I think if we had to get a good goal scorer in next year, I know he's about 33, but I think Billy Sharp wouldn't be the worst suggestion in terms of somebody in terms of somebody actually scoring goals in the Championship. I know Lewis Grabban's in there as well. He scored goals at Forest. I don't think they're going to go up, but I definitely think Billy Sharp wouldn't be too bad. He always scores goals. Do you like 90 min? Well, yeah, I'm part of their channel. I do fan voice and stuff like that. I've been on their gas tank before as well. So I do like 90 min. Yes, I do. They're giving me a good opportunity, so I'll always be forever grateful. What about Sam Gallagher on loan next season? Yeah, we have been linked with him in the past, and I've been a big fan of him. Obviously, he was at Birmingham last year on loan. I think the Hull want him on loan. I think there was a little bit of talk that Hull. Ollie McBurney as well. Yeah, another one would be quite a good striker, actually. What's even happening with 90 min? Well, I'm aware of what's happening with 90 min, but I don't know if I can really... in terms of the fan voices... the fan voices really, they're actually up on the website. We don't actually upload them on the channel no more. Well, I don't know if I should be saying that or not, but they're up on their website for some reason. I don't know why, but we were told that they weren't going to go up on the YouTube channel as frequently as they were. There's some very valid reasoning behind it, but they're on the website now, all the fan voices. So if you go on there and that, you'll get every fan voice. I think you will from every match day and that, which is interesting. Goodbye. Casper says goodbye. Thanks very much. Have a good evening, mate. See you soon. Hopefully see you next Thursday when we drop in. Are we playing Brighton on Tuesday or Wednesday? I'm not too sure. I think it's Tuesday night, isn't it? I think we are. Does Ream need to be dropped? Yes. But at the moment, who can we drop in with, though? That's the question. I don't know who we can drop in with. Tuesday night, okay, wonderful. Who do you think will score versus Brighton? At the moment, we don't score many goals. We just don't seem to score anything more than one goal in a game at the moment, so I don't know. I just don't know, really. I tend to scratch my head at a lot of questions. Well, metaphorically speaking, not literally, obviously, but they said they don't want to flood people with sub boxes. Yeah, I suppose, that was a reason as well, which is fair enough, I suppose. After a match day, it can be quite hectic. When you've got about, 8 or 9 fan voices, it does tend to be quite a problem. Who will finish top goal scorer this year for Fulham? Oh, interesting. I don't know. Mitrovic, obviously, I think he's top goal scorer for us at the moment. Do you think Benatia will go through? Can't see it happening. Yeah, I don't know. It's wishful thinking, I suppose, isn't it? I don't know really what's going on with the transfer department. I don't know what's happening. We've just got to be careful. We've just got to wait and see. Play Chambers in centre-back and play Anguissa or Kearney. If I was to play Chambers centre-back, then I'd probably play Tom Kearney there. I've not seen much of Anguissa this year, but when we've seen him a lot, he's not been great, has he? I'd even give some of the younger players a go, really. Do you know what's happened with Kamara? Well, Kamara's been exiled from the first team. He's obviously had a couple of fights. Who do you think will win the league? Liverpool for me. I think they've been my prediction from day one. Liverpool for me will win the league this year. I want Liverpool to win the league. I'm a big fan of Jurgen Klopp, so it'd be great to see him win the league. I think City winning it again would be a bit boring, wouldn't it, really? I mean, they're a fantastic team, don't get me wrong, but I want to see Liverpool win it. Kamara at centre-back. Yes, Chambers has been terrible at centre-back all season. Oldham, Watford and Cardiff, yeah. Well, Cardiff, he actually played right-back at Cardiff and he got bombed off after half an hour. Or was it first half, I think he played at right-back. Or he started off centre-half and got pushed to right-back. Something silly like that happened, but he started off okay. In the first couple of games against Palace, and he did okay against Spurs at centre-half. He did all right, but then it got worse. Where would Cesc go? I think he'd go Tottenham, I think, if we were to leave. I think he'd go to Spurs. Do you go to away games? I do go to a few away games every season. Probably go to about 2 or 3, but away games are not always convenient for me to get to. Kevin McDonald at centre-back, I don't know really. I think he's played centre-half in the Championship for a few times. I just don't think he's got the mobility to play at centre-half, but I just don't think at this moment in time, I don't think it's going to be great to chop and change. Love the calendar in the background, yeah, I do. It is quite good, I always have it up there. How much do you want for Sessegnon? Say about, what, £40 million, I'd say. I think this year alone, I think there's probably, I don't know how, but I'd say 40 million. I don't think he's worth about, what, 60 million. I think about 40 million pounds probably a fair enough return for him. I think it will be at least around 40 million pound will be a more realistic bid. McDonald's not Premier League quality. I do agree with that, Ollie. I think he's more of a Championship type of player. If he goes out on loan this year to the Championship, it'll be good, but we've just got to be patient with that and see where we go with him. It looks unlikely, I think. Excuse me. The beauty of my video, you see all of these little outtakes that you wouldn't see normally. Opinions on Schürrle. I think Schürrle's one of them players. He's a luxury player who goes hiding in a lot of games. You get the occasional screamer out of him and that, but what else does he offer? I mean, he is really, really slow. I forgot how slow he was. I remember against Wolves, he went through on goal in the second half, and it was awful. I've seen Milk turn quicker than him as well. He's technically a good player, but I just don't think it's the right type of player we need in a relegation battle. What do you reckon on Ryan Babel? I think he'd be a good player. Hopefully he'll be a bit more consistent. Hopefully see a good few performances, string them back to back, consistency wise. He started off well, but the question remains whether he can keep it up. Once he hopefully gets a bit more fitter, we might see a better player. Yeah, I was thinking about Middlesbrough. They've signed Mikel, haven't they, Middlesbrough? Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be unlikely he'll go there. I don't know where he'll go really in the Championship, but Mikel's interesting. Mikel's a bit of a strange signing for Middlesbrough. I don't understand why he's gone there. But you tend to get these strange signings, don't you? But yeah, McDonald, I don't know where he'll go now. He needs to change his hair. I know the red hair is not great, is it? I mean, and before anybody asks, my hair is not being dyed red. I'm not dyeing my hair red at all. McDonald is he's a good Championship player, yeah, but he's not a Premier League player at all. But going back to that Babel haircut, I don't know why people would have that haircut. I just think it's strange. So it's like left back or left mid. At the moment, I'd probably go left. Left. I could even try him at left back. I think Joe Bryan's been okay for us, but he's not been fantastic. He was at fault for that winning goal for Spurs as well, but I'll definitely probably see this at left back. What would the score be against Brighton? I'll go 1-1, Fulham Brighton. Fulham were the hardest team, but only have 14 points. Yeah, this has been the story of our season. It's just been a generally quite a poor season, really. Let's just say it because he's not white. This is not racism. What do you mean by that proper lemon squeeze? Let's just say I don't understand I don't understand really. If that's I don't understand about that. About racism, I don't think we're slagging off players because of that. I don't think. What will Schürrle do if we go down? I think his loan deal will get terminated. Really, I do believe he will. Ranieri's not been good enough. We haven't improved. Well, I think we have. I think we improved a bit in the short term. The thing is, though, at the moment, I just think with this whole managerial thing, I just don't think Slavisa would have done any better. I think the change had to be made. If you look at how bad things turned towards the end under Slavisa, I just don't think him staying long term would have worked. I think Ranieri, he has improved us, and look, it's been difficult for him. He's obviously come into a team that concede goals left, right, and centre, obviously, but 2 clean sheets, which I don't think we would have got under Slavisa Jokanovic. They're positives. Even a couple of weeks ago, things looked like they were improving, but I suppose they're probably not. If we were to go down, I think he'd leave. Would you play Cess on the right and Babel on the left and drop Schürrle? It would be interesting, but I don't know. Ranieri doesn't seem to rate Sessegnon, so that would be interesting. I don't think he seems to rate him really. Slav didn't even want a new contract, otherwise he'd done one in the summer. Well, I do believe his contract was up. Was his contract up at the end of this season? I think it was, wasn't it? So he was quite hesitant on signing one, which was always going to be an indication of what could have potentially happened. If Fulham go down and Ranieri leaves, what manager would you want that's realistic? Well, I think it'd definitely be somebody who... did you go on the pitch at Derby? Yes, but going back to the managerial thing, probably somebody with a bit more of experience in the league. I'd probably go someone like Chris Wilder. I think if Sheffield United don't go up, then probably him. If you're going to look for more far-fetched options, then Danny Cowley's another one that springs to mind. Done a good job at Lincoln. They're probably going to go up this year. No, Freddie, trust me, you do not want Gary Rowett. He was absolute shit at Stoke this year. Stoke fans absolutely hounded him out of the club. I would have said Nathan Jones, but he also went to Stoke actually. I can tell Freddie's being sarcastic now. If we get relegated, do you think we'll go back up? No, I'll be quite honestly, I don't think we will. I think next year if we go down, it'll be a rebuilding process. But Birmingham fans, I understand Birmingham fans liked him because up until we got sacked to be replaced by Zola, he was actually doing quite well. He got them into the playoff places and was surprisingly sacked by Birmingham. So you can understand why they're quite good, why they're quite pleasing. Because if you cast your mind back to when he took over, Lee Clark left them in the relegation zone. Obviously, Lee Clark, good player for Fulham. Obviously, not a great manager, but he left them in the bottom three. And then Rowett turned it around. Derby was second. They made the playoffs. Yeah, but the thing is, though, they were second, and he had one bad season at Stoke. But the thing is, though, look, Gary Rowett, he's a couple of years ago I would have said yes, but no, not for me. I think it proved that when you've got one of the best teams in the division in terms of like, he spent £49 million to try and get them back up, and they're what 13th or are they like 14th or something? When you've got people in your team like Ryan Woods in the midfield, you've got Joe Allen in there, you've got Benik Afobe, Ashley Williams, Ryan Shawcross, Jack Butland, Moritz Bauer, Bruno Martins Indy. You've got players like that. There's no way under any manager in the Championship that squad should be sitting 15th. That squad should ideally really be in and around the top 6, if not top 2. So I think that just highlights how poor a manager he is. When you've got that type of squad and you can't get them up, and you can't even get them into a competitive position in the league, then it just proves that he's not a big move's too big for him. I think I do agree. I think we all go down again next year if we go down. Did you go to the European final when Fulham got there? No, I didn't. I was a bit too young for that. I don't remember it too well, but no, I didn't go to the one. I didn't go to the Hamburg final, unfortunately. But it's probably I'd say one of the things I'd love to have seen as a Fulham supporter if we'd actually been in that position right now, because I definitely would have. It's definitely been a great experience. Yep. See you later, Lewis. Have a good one. Have a good one. What do you think about Chris Coleman? He's out in China. I think he's out in China at the moment. I think it's like, isn't he a team like Shanghai Fortune? But I think the only problem I'd have with Chris Coleman, if he came, then Kit Simons would follow as his number 2. And obviously we know Kit Simons didn't cover himself in too much glory at Fulham when he took charge, did he? So I personally wouldn't want to see that to happen. I think just a Stanley don't go back, and I think we should really honour that, really, and don't go back. So that'd be an interesting one, really. So I personally wouldn't want him to go back, or come back at least anyway. But what's your favourite piece of Fulham memorabilia that you own? Oh, that's a good question. Well, there's a few things really. I mean, I don't know. I think recent memory. I think the playoff final programme will be definitely one that I'll look to try and keep for as long as I live. I think that'd be a great memory. I don't know, Fulham memorabilia, there's a few things I've got, but I'll definitely say recent times at least, the playoff final programme would definitely be up there for me, I think. The promotion shirt we've got, which I've still got now, I'll probably look to keep that as well. Will the plans for the new stand be cancelled? Well, no, because we've got a contract, so I'd be very surprised if that was to be cancelled. We've got a contract sorted out, so I don't think that'll be... will disappear anytime soon. I don't think. I think even if we go down, the newsstand will be built. We're 43 minutes into the stream. I support Fulham and Shrewsbury. Do you think what the score will be between Wolves and Shrewsbury? I think I don't know. It'll be a tough. I'd expect Wolves to go through. Are Wolves? Is it at Molineux, or is it at Shrewsbury? I think if it's at Wolves, then I'd say Wolves go through. If it's at Shrewsbury, I think Shrewsbury got a chance, but. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it's being played. I'm in H4 behind the goal. I'm in H3 actually, so I'm a block away. Looking forward to playing Brentford to QPR again next year. Probably not really. I mean, Brentford are one of those teams where they just seem to get that little bit of luck against us, don't they, really? Why don't we go for Hassan Hüttl? That's done an amazing job. Better than Ranieri, but not as good as Rowett. I don't know really. Hassan Hüttl was one of those... A few people wanted him, and I understand that a few Fulham fans wanted him, but I didn't know too much about him prior to coming to the Premier League. But look, it's one of those things that's probably worked out for Southampton. You know, it's just one of those things that what might have been really, but I don't know. It's a strange one, really, isn't it? You know, Ranieri, it was paid for option. It hasn't really ideally worked, but we just got to see what happens, really. But Hassan Hüttl's done a good job at Southampton. I expect him to stay up. To Rowett, he did get Kit sacked. Yeah, he did get Kit Simon sacked. It's probably the only useful thing he's done for Fulham, aside from helping us get to Wembley, was get Kit Simon sacked. And that was another good thing he's done for us. So as long as he's not managing us, then good. Right, see you later. Thank you for coming, Evie Potter. That's good. enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much. Naughty Nevers up the walls. I think we'll only do an hour on this show. I think we'll go to about 9:30 and we'll call it there. I don't think we'll go till 9:45. Prediction for Brighton, 1-1 draw. I think we'll go there. Yeah, we'll do an hour tonight. Come on, Shrewsbury. Yeah, well, I'd like to see a Giant get in the FA Cup. Would be interesting. So what do people generally think of all these live streams? I mean, do people like them? Would it be good? Would you want to see one next Thursday, deadline day? Would you want to see me for about another hour go through on deadline day and give my opinions on the transfer deals as they happen and stuff like that? Howard Bayless says he likes the channel. Thanks very much, Howard. I appreciate that. Before I go, it's 2-1. Thanks very much for the score prediction, Evie, or score clarification. They're really good. But yeah, let me know what people would think about me doing one again next Thursday. Hopefully try and keep it weekly, but especially next week if we do a... well, I'm going to do one next week. Obviously next Thursday will be another weekly slot, especially if... Obviously deadline day is going to be good as well, so that'll add a bit more incentive to it. I'll add that to the title as well next week, should be quite good. I really like the live streams. Thanks very much for that, Fen. We won't sign anyone, but it will be good. Well, it's another weekly live stream, so just give more people to talk about, and it might give us some other things to talk about around this time next week, hopefully. Do you think we'll sign Gary Cahill? Asks Howard. I don't think we will, mate. I don't think we will. I think that's looking unlikely. I think that's finished now, that deal. So sad. It's unfortunate, but yeah, I'll see what happens. I mean, we've got the Brighton game Tuesday, so I'll put the vlog up Tuesday night after the game. Haven't asked yet. What's your opinions on Kamara debate? I think he's going to have to leave now. I think when you're fighting and things like that, it's never going to be good. Do you think Liverpool win the league? I do think they'll win the league. I hope they do, because I'd personally like to see it. I know Liverpool fans get a lot of flack on social media, but I think, you know, they're the best. I think this year they're probably the best team in the league, I'd say, at the moment. They've been quite consistent this year as well, so if they win the league, I wouldn't have no complaints about that at all. So it'd be nice to see them win it instead of City. I mean, I like City. They're a great team, but I just think for a bit more of a different type of... instead of a less, you know, I think City winning it again would be a bit tedious, wouldn't it, really? So somebody different to win it, so that'd be good. But yeah, I'd go Liverpool to win it this year. I'd loan out Kamara. I think Kamara is going to go out on loan. I think he's going to go to Turkey on loan, but would he have a future next year if he came back, or next season speaking? Probably not, but I think for the time being, get him out on loan, get his head sorted out, play some competitive football, and then come back maybe in the summer a different person, hopefully. Did you ever Kamara? I did. I don't know what that. Okay, yeah, message got retracted, which is interesting. Only 5 people in the stream now. I think we'll knock it off soon. I think we'll give it a couple more questions and we'll just draw the line there. I know Thursday evenings are not a convenient time really. I might change the times on this maybe. So we'll just have to wait and see really. But look, no, live streams are live streams. We should have beaten Tottenham. We should have got a draw against Tottenham. I don't think we should have beaten them, but I think a point would have been a fair result. I think the second half wasn't great. Did you ever like Kamara? I did like Kamara. Yeah, I've been a big supporter of him on the pitch. I think he's got some flack in the past couple of years, which has not been great. What was the record viewers on the live stream? Well, I've only done about 2 or 3 live streams, so I can't really remember. But the highest we usually get is about 20, I think. But look, I'm not a massive channel, so I don't expect us to get like hundreds and thousands. I'm realistic with what I expect, or what I expect really from videos and stuff like that. I know that my live streams and that probably ain't as good as probably what bigger football channels are and that. So yeah, 1,000 subs though. Yeah, I know, but 1,000 subs. Look, not every subscriber is going to be active and that. You do get a lot of inactive subscribers on here and that, and things happen on YouTube. It's a strange environment, YouTube, but I only do it as a hobby, so I don't take it too seriously, and I don't get too disheartened really when I only get a certain amount of views on the live stream. It's only a live stream, so I don't really get too disheartened because I don't really take it too seriously. It's a little part-time hobby I have on the side, so anything I do out of it, or anything positive, because it's a bonus really for me. So we'll see how it goes. Right, I think we will end the stream there, guys. If you did enjoy the stream, thanks for dropping in again. Always appreciated. Hopefully everybody has a good evening. So we will see you all soon. I don't know when we're going to be back. I think over the weekend I might do the build up to the the Brighton game.